Welcome to this painting journey. Golden passage beneath the bridge. A Brisbane afternoon. A cyclist moving through sunlight and shadow. A city breathing quietly. In this video, we'll paint this scene step by step using Alvaro Castagnet's 4 pillars of watercolor: shape, value, edge, and color. The 4 foundations of every powerful watercolor painting. We'll work through the painting in 4 stages. 1. Pencil sketching, laying out the scene with intention. 2. First wash, setting the sky, light, and atmosphere. 3. Shape and shadows, building depth and drama. 4. Detailing and highlighting, bringing the painting to life. Let's begin. Pillar 1. Shape. Shape variety and massing. Every powerful composition begins with shape. In this painting, 3 distinct shape groups anchor the scene. Abstract sky form. The upper sky is painted loosely as one sweeping organic mass. No hard detail, pure atmosphere. Geometric house blocks. The Queenslander homes on the right form solid, angular masses that contrast beautifully against the soft sky. Foreground shape mass. The cars, shadows, and street below merge into one large, bold, dark mass, pushing the eye forward. Detailed cluster. The story bridge trusses introduce rhythmic, linear structure, a detailed shape cluster that draws the eye toward the distance. Shape variety is the first secret of this painting. Organic against geometric. Detail against mass. Pillar 2. Value. Tonal structure and depth. Value, the range of light and dark, is what gives the painting its sense of space and sunlight. Deepest darks. The cars and sky shadows are the darkest zone, anchoring the weight of the scene. Mid-grays. Building faces and shadow paths occupy the middle tones, creating depth between foreground and background. Whites. The street surface, the light on the cyclist's back, and the highlights on the house glow as the lightest zones, the sunlit path that guides your eye through the painting. Strong contrast between dark sky and bright street creates the illusion of a radiant Brisbane afternoon. Pillar 3. Edge. Lost and found edges, mark-making rhythm. Edges control where the eye travels and where it rests. Found edges. The house contours and the cyclist are sharp and clear. These are our points of focus. Lost edges. The sky blends into foliage. Shadows dissolve into the ground. These soft, lost edges create mystery and depth. Rhythmic mark-making. The bridge trusses are painted with energetic, rhythmic brushstrokes, calligraphic marks that animate the midground. Lost and found edges are what separate a living painting from a flat illustration. Pillar 4. Color. Harmonious, cool, warm balance. Color in this painting is built on a complementary relationship between warm and cool. Dominant warm mass, ochre, burnt sienna, and permanent orange flow through the houses, cyclist, and warm sky, the golden light of the afternoon. Dominant cool mass, blue-gray washes fill the street, shadows, and foreground, balancing and cooling the scene. Harmonizing green, touches of green in the foliage bridge the warm and cool passages, unifying the palette. Color temperature change, warm buildings, cool street, creates atmospheric perspective without a single line of detail. Materials. Before we paint, let's meet our materials. Colors for this painting. Warm palette, permanent orange, cadmium yellow, yellow ochre, burnt sienna, sepia. Cool palette, cobalt blue, Prussian blue, neutral tint. Paper, 300 GSM cold press watercolor.
A3 size. Brushes. Round for washes, flat for edges and buildings, point for fine detail.
Step 1. Pencil sketching. We begin with a soft 5B pencil. The goal here is not to draw every detail. It's to map the major shapes, where the sky ends, where the buildings sit, where the road leads the eye. Keep your lines light and gestural. The pencil is just a guide. Watercolor will do the real talking. Place the Story Bridge in the upper left, the Queenslander homes on the right, and leave a wide open path of light running down the center of the street toward the viewer. Mark the cyclist in the middle distance, small but vital. Every great painting needs a heartbeat. Step 2. First wash, sky and atmosphere. The sky sets the mood for everything that follows. We begin by wetting the entire upper half of the paper, working wet on wet. While the paper is still wet and glistening, drop cadmium yellow at the horizon line. Warm, glowing light where the sky meets the rooftops. Sweep yellow ochre above it, building the warmth upward. Introduce cobalt blue across the upper sky, letting it bleed softly into the warm tones below. Touch permanent orange at the cloud edges for a hint of sunset warmth. Drop neutral tint into the wet clouds to build shadow mass. Watch how it blooms and spreads naturally. Wet on wet is Castagnet's technique for lost edges in the sky. Nothing sharp, nothing rigid. Pure atmosphere. Do not touch or correct while it is wet. Trust the water. Trust the paint. Allow this wash to dry completely before moving forward. Step 3. Shape and shadows. Now we build the bones of the painting. With sepia, yellow ochre, and burnt sienna, we paint from background to foreground, far to near, light to dark. Background, the distant trees. Mix sepia with cobalt blue for a muted, atmospheric gray-brown gray. Keep the brush loose, so edges should be soft. Let the shapes suggest structure without spelling it out. Energy, not accuracy. Midground, the Queenslander homes. Switch to warm yellow ochre and burnt sienna for the building facades. These are sunstruck surfaces. Paint the shadowed sides immediately with deeper sepia mixes, letting wet edges meet wet edges, where the wall turns from light to shadow. Foreground, cars and street shadows. The foreground shadow mass is the darkest value in the painting. Use deep neutral tint mixed with Prussian blue. Paint these shadows boldly and with confidence. Let them merge. Cars don't need windows. Shadows don't need edges. Mass matters more than detail. Tip for shadows. Cast shadows always follow the surface they fall on. On the road, they stretch long and diagonal. Use the flat brush with the side edge for clean, directional sweeps. Overlapping shadow layers build depth. Let the first layer dry, then glaze a second, cooler layer, Prussian blue plus neutral tint, on top. The depth will feel real. Step 4. Detailing and highlights. Story bridge details. Story bridge details. Using a point brush with thin sepia and neutral tint, calligraphy the bridge trusses with quick, rhythmic strokes. These marks should feel energetic, like handwriting, not engineering. The cyclist is the soul of this painting, the golden figure that gives the scene its pulse. Use permanent orange for the jersey. Paint it as a single warm shape. Add cadmium yellow on the bike frame for luminosity. With a fine point brush and dry sepia, add the helmet, legs, and wheel. Minimal marks, maximum impact. White highlights. The magic touch. Now for the secret that connects everything, using white watercolor.
With a fine brush, place small, confident whites. A bright line along the cyclist's back and helmet. Sunstruck. Window glints on the Queenslander house. Edge highlights on cars catching the afternoon light. Small white sparks along the bridge cables. These whites are not corrections. They are the light itself. Remember Castagnet's rule. A great painting lives or dies on the relationship between its darkest darks and its lightest lights. Protect your whites. Earn your darks. Everything in between is just the journey.
And there it is. Golden passage beneath the bridge. Shape, value, edge, color. 4 pillars, 1 painting. A fleeting Brisbane afternoon, held still in watercolor. If this journey resonated with you, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. There are many more paintings, techniques, and Brisbane moments to come. And now, a question for you in the comments below. If you were the cyclist in this painting, riding through golden light beneath the Story Bridge, what moment or place in your own city would you want to capture in watercolor? Thank you for painting with me today. See you in the next one.